Caleb Williams, let's get into it. 90.3 PFF passing grade, 20th in college football. He was the 2022 Heisman Trophy winner and basically broke every single USC single season offensive record. He had a 3.5% turnover-worthy play rate this season, bottom 10 amongst quarterbacks in college football. He had an average time to throw of over 3.2 seconds in all three of his college seasons. To put this into perspective, in the NFL last year, there was only one QB who was over 3.0 seconds, Justin Fields. Now, Caleb seems destined to be the number one pick in the draft, and many have said that he's the best QB prospect since Trevor Lawrence. But is that true? Is he even a better option than Justin Fields? Is he even the best QB prospect in this class? Let's take a look and break this down trait by trait. Starting off with the positives, arm talent. He can spray it all over the field. Zed receiver motions down, defenders are playing off. Williams has a post-out combo on the strong side. Due to this middle safety, Caleb is probably going to look for the out route. Defense ends up blitzing down the middle. Williams does well here to get deep in the pocket and buy the routes time. Usually QBs should step into their throws, but with a cannon like this, you can break the rules a bit. This is a far sideline, back foot hose. Not many QBs can deliver this, especially with that kind of accuracy. His arm strength helps him get the ball into tight windows, which is great for red zone scenarios. Back in his Oklahoma days here, a botched snap leads to some backyard football. He evades the rush and his receiver sneaks to the back of the end zone. Defender's right on top of him as Caleb's releasing the ball, but the velocity on the pass gets it in there. Great off-platform throw. He can also contort his arm and release the ball from different arm angles. RPO here with a backside slant. Safety drops down to cover this option, so Caleb sidearms this and puts it on the money. This is something that Pat Mahomes also does very well, creating passing windows by altering his arm angle on the fly. Difficult thing for defenses to account for. Overall, he's got a very good arm, not elite, but he can make basically every throw with great pace. He has a quick release and can throw off platform. Now on to playmaking. This is where the highlights come from. When plays break down, Caleb is the most comfortable player on the field. This deep cover 2 look works great versus the route concepts that USC run here. Nobody's open as Caleb scans the field. He looks to escape, accomplishes that, and then makes a ridiculous throw working to his left on the money. His ability to get out of the pocket, keep his eyes downfield, and fling passes while running is probably the best part of his game and is very Russell Wilson-esque. USC draws up a delayed screen to the back. Issue is that slot corner is going to come in on a blitz. This play in most cases would end with the QB throwing the ball into the dirt. Not with Caleb though. The offensive lineman bounce out. Free rusher comes in. Caleb 360 spins, ducks under him, shoots his eyes upfield and throws a dart. I mean, so good it doesn't even make sense. He's a certified magician. He likes to drop back deep in the pocket, which makes it more difficult to block for him, but he also is great at evading blitzers. Oklahoma offensive line blocks this well up front. Back does well. Williams dips the shoulder and steps up in the pocket. Eyes are downfield the entire play, and he throws up this one-on-one shot. I'm a big fan of how aggressive he plays. He's constantly looking for chunk plays and takes calculated risks. DB has his back turned, so the wide receiver makes an easy adjustment and brings down this pass. Now pocket presence. He's confident operating the pocket and adjusts well to movement. We've seen that already in some plays. Here, big 3rd and 9 in the fourth quarter versus Notre Dame. Empty shotgun look. He's got a crosser over the middle that he's trying to get to versus this man coverage. It's covered well. Protection starts to break down, but Caleb moves around, stands tall, and delivers a strike to the backside dig with a defender right up in his grill. Williams is a pure gunslinger. He's always ready to make a big-time throw, no matter the situation. Running ability. He can do a lot with his legs. When he extends plays on top of throwing darts, he can also get huge chunks with his speed. He may not be a QB you run a lot of options with, but when he gets some space, he will make the defense pay. Versus Arizona State here, the left tackle gets beaten early, leaves Caleb no chance, but Williams battles through the contact, keeps his balance, and accelerates. There's no hesitation in his game. He's decisive with all his movements, makes some guys miss, and gets the first. Option play here, and he shows off some open field moves again. He doesn't have the size or speed to live off these plays in the NFL, but occasionally you can throw in some designed QB runs with Caleb. Now, so we know he's a playmaking QB who loves working off script, has a smooth release, great arm to deliver basically any pass, is comfortable in the pocket, and can run for chunk plays. But let's take a look at the negatives. Versus blitz. On one hand, Caleb didn't play with the best receiving core. There's no guy he could trust when under pressure, but still, he did not perform well when blitzed in 2023. Notre Dame put out the blueprint for stopping him, wide blitzes and keeping him in the pocket. He likes to drop back really deep, which means his drop back is relatively slow and blitzers have time to penetrate. Notre Dame draws up a weak side blitz with the corner and linebacker. Caleb stumbles, drops his eyes, and throws into coverage. When his process is rushed, he doesn't look that magical. He has to take the check down, throw the ball away, or take the sack. This was a bad decision, especially on a 1st and 10. Notre Dame's linebackers did a great job of playing contain this game. Linebacker steps up here on the play action. Pocket breaks down. The linebacker stays disciplined and puts Caleb into a tough spot. Williams did a good job evading pressure, but there's no way he should be attempting this throw to such a busy area. He has to learn to throw the ball away and be better as a game manager. Now let's look at overall decision making. USU is going to run a trips right look with some posts and digs across the board, and then an underneath mesh route from the opposite side receiver. Blitz comes in, but the line holds up well. Since the receivers are all sort of bunched up on one side, this should be a fairly smooth read, but for some reason Caleb's eyes got stuck to the left here. He might be waiting for the underneath in route from the number 2 receiver. He can probably deliver with some touch and anticipation, but he feels the need to evade. Luckily the mesh is wide open, and I mean for a long while, but Williams just doesn't throw it until the last second. He needs to focus on making the right play and not a highlight play each time. Pistol look, nice play action, and the play works. Confusion amongst the linebackers, and one of them abandons their responsibility on the running back, cutting him loose. Williams has his mind predetermined on something downfield, doesn't take what the defense gives him, and this play turns into a sack. With the safeties playing so deep and the 2 linebackers stepping up, Caleb needs to realize that one of the underneath guys is open. 4-man rush, so that means that Caleb is going to look to extend the play. I'm not sure if this is by coaching design, but there aren't a lot of anticipatory throws in Williams' film. It's a lot of throw it to who's open or something off script. But nonetheless, USC has 2 vertical routes on the weak side of the formation, possibly looking to test a half-field safety. Utah ends up running a cover match with what looks like cover 2. The boundary corner reads 2 and takes him up the field, while the inside defender covers underneath. This route concept works perfectly, and the boundary receiver is open. Caleb gets stuck on the inside receiver and doesn't deliver the ball. Fairly simple read and a poor rep from Williams. Finally, let's look at his touch. Now, the amount of times touch passes got away from him on film surprised me. Simple 1v1 fade ball here versus Utah. Not really any pressure. Good look, and he puts too much air under the pass, sails it out of bounds. He really didn't have to be precise here. His receiver was in good position. Feet look okay, needs to put less air on a pass like this and trust his receiver more. This time he's on the run, and he tries to zip in a pass instead of just adding some touch and putting it over the linebacker's head. He needs to take what the defense gives him and not force the issue so much. Here, Oklahoma has a curl corner concept in the end zone, trying to get the defenders to bite on the curl and leave the corner open. Play works, but Williams airmails this ball off his back foot. He lacks the ability to throw touch passes into tight spots consistently. Overall, Caleb Williams is a great QB prospect. He's a magician with outstanding confidence and a gunslinger attitude. He has a great arm, throws with good zip, and can change his arm angle and throw off platform. He evades pressure with ease and is prime Russell Wilson-esque when it comes to off-script plays. He somehow almost always finds an open guy and makes something out of nothing. He needs to become better pre-snap, reading defenses and knowing where to look post-snap. This could have been due to coaching, but he did get caught often not adjusting well to blitzes. The main thing for him, though, is that he needs to learn to play in structure, which is a bigger red flag than I think people realize. His average time to throw will not be over 3.2 seconds in the NFL. He will be getting hit before that. Does he have the mental toughness to battle through the initial learning curve in the NFL? Because things won't be easy. He will force passes and suffer bad fumbles. Defenders are quick in the NFL, and it is tough to run away from them all game. Williams also doesn't have elite speed or size. Will his body hold up? Extending plays also leads to more physical punishment. On top of this, he needs to get better at reading defenses and anticipating throws, as well as putting good touch on his passes. He has some very promising traits, but is far from a guaranteed franchise cornerstone. So should the Bears take him? I like Fields, and I think Fields does have an elite trait in his speed and running ability, which is better than Caleb's. I'm not sure if Caleb truly has an elite trait in his arsenal. Now, Williams is a better passer, but there are some clear issues with his game, as I've mentioned. Having Caleb for 5 years on a rookie contract ultimately might sway the Bears, but I think they should do their due diligence. An offense of Fields, Moore, Marvin Harrison, or Malik Neighbors would for sure be great. Trading down for picks and keeping Fields would be the option I think I would go with at the moment. Caleb hasn't shown me enough on tape for me to think he's a complete prospect. He's still a work in progress. The Bears can nab one of the top receivers and a top edge rusher or offensive lineman. They can add star talent to both sides of the ball and get more picks. Imagine DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison on the outside and Montez Sweat and Leitu Latu rushing the passer. That sounds like a roster that could be a contender. Luckily for Caleb, if he does get picked number 1, I'm pretty confident that the Bears will select another top receiver, possibly Malik Neighbors with their second first-round pick. So Williams will be put in a great situation to start, which will definitely accelerate his learning curve. Now, as far as this year's QB class, I still need to look at other QB prospects, and I'm not completely sold on Caleb, so I can't say he's the best QB this year. I do think he's more promising than Jaden Daniels based on my earlier video. However, Daniels did have his best games later on in the season, so I might need to do a regrade. There's a lot to settle before draft time. But those are my thoughts at the moment on Caleb Williams. Let me know what you think about him in the comments below and who you think I should look at in the next video. That's all from me, and I'm out.